With more businesses and individuals working from home this past year, the demand for office phones has declined. So we've made the decision to discontinue new sales of Cloud BBX as of March 1st, 2021. This and many other things will be discussed on today's episode of Pod Nuts Pro. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Pod Nuts Pro. I am your host, Marvin B. Pod Nuts Pro is the show basically to help you run your IT business and help support other businesses in your field. We share stories, products, and tips, all in the interest of helping you run your business better, smarter, and faster. And today we have a very special impromptu show, and I am joined by my good friend, Jason Miller. Jason, how are you, sir?
Doing great. Can't complain today, for a Tuesday, I guess. So
Can't complain today. So I have two complaints, not tech related, but just two complaints. So our neighborhood decided to change the trash schedule, but didn't decide to put out flyers for our neighborhood. So everybody in the neighborhood had their trash and recycling out today, only to find out that it will not be picked up till next Monday. Well, the recycling will be picked up next Monday. The yard trash will be picked up next Monday. And then trash will be picked up Mondays and Thursdays going forward. So my wife did a big, huge pickup in the yard. So I've got a full yard can that's going to be sitting now for a whole nother week. And so that was the first thing. And the second thing is I woke up to 52 degrees this morning.
Yeah,
and as you can tell, I am still dressed for the cold down here in Florida.
Yeah, well, we were just a little colder. It was, I think it was 32 degrees, and we had 2 inches of snow.
32 degrees. That is, that's iguana freezing weather.
Yeah, I've heard you talk about raining iguanas and stuff like that down in there. So,
yep, that has happened. That has happened. So, first show back after the holiday. How was your Thanksgiving?
That was great. Yeah, had family over. Of course, we're all seeing each other all the time anyways. We didn't have to do the sit outside stuff that the CDC recommends. I don't know why you would do that anyways. It's cold. But, it's everybody hung out, had good fried turkey, deep fried turkey. It was awesome.
Ooh, deep fried.
That's the only way to eat turkey. Have you ever had that?
No.
No? What? Okay.
No. At least I don't think so, and I don't plan to.
Why?
Well, I mean, listen. Well, first of all, let me say this. This is going to be a side note, and I do want to do a little shout out to Adam, who in the chat said that it was 16 degrees this morning when he went to the gym. Listen, if the weather's ever in the teens, I ain't going to the gym. That's the first thing I will say. But what I was going to say is so this was the first year in ever that my mother was not able to host Thanksgiving. Now, there was one year that I missed in college, but every year growing up, every year since, even married, the mom has always hosted Thanksgiving. This was the first year that obviously we could not be together because of COVID. My mom actually has some conditions with cancer, so her doctor would not let her host and would not let her travel. So the wife got to cook her first Thanksgiving dinner for us. And thank goodness that she cooked it pretty much the way that I'm used to. So baked it in the oven, did all the other stuff. Now she stuffed it with some weird little stuff, but that's how I've had my turkey my entire life and don't plan on changing.
Yeah. Once you go deep fried, you can't go back. I mean, it's amazing. So you drop it in the turkey fryer. It takes literally an hour for a 16-pound turkey done. and it's amazing.
No, all right. I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, my wife, of course, she does all the basting of the turkey and some stuff she puts on the outside of it to make it even more flavorful. So a couple days ahead of time, let it kind of soak in, then we deep fry it. So
All right. I'm sorry, but I have to do a quick little thing. So entertain yourself for a minute. I've got to take this off. It's hot.
it's hot. Listen, hey, just down there in Florida, it's hot. Yeah.
So there you go. Even cold outside. It is still, so it is 58 degrees outside. Actually, it just dropped to 57, but it is still warm inside. So I had to, back to normal clothing. So,
yeah.
All right. So we've actually got a bunch of people watching. So let's go ahead and get to our special story of the day. I feel like we're like a real talk show, news station or whatever, but Freedom Voice made the announcement this morning. So everybody that is a current partner with Freedom Voice got an email this morning that they were going to be discontinuing new sales of their cloud PBX platform as of March 1st, 2021. And both you and I had conversations this morning, not only with other partners, other techs who have been using Freedom Voice that we have recommended over the years, but we've also had conversations with our sales reps at Freedom Voice. Mm-hmm. And I should just go ahead and say that, yes, I still have accounts with Freedom Voice, and I have been reluctant to make an announcement that I know that you have not been quiet in making your announcement in some of the changes that you've been doing. But first thing we should probably let everybody know, it's not that the Cloud PBX program is going away. The partner program is not going away. They're just not going to be taking on new partners and doing new orders. All of the existing accounts will stay as they are. The service will not stop for customers. They will notice no changes. You can actually still add lines and add phones if you need to. They'll do replacement. The support will still be there. So the program as it stands for all of your existing stuff stays the same. Is that pretty much what you got when you talked to them this morning?
Yes. Yeah. Everything's staying in place. Nothing's really changing except for no new partners, no new accounts after, was it March? So
yeah, March 1st will be the cutoff date. So actually, if you are a new partner and you have some accounts that you're hoping to get onboarded, or you have some customers that you like to switch on to Freedom Voice from another provider, you have until the end of February to do that. So you can still add new business up until then. As opposed to, well, let me do what else here. The other notes I wrote down here. So yeah, everything existing stays the same. Commissions do not change. So for all your existing book of business, you will still get paid. You will still get support. And one thing to note, there are no plans to discontinue this anytime soon. So this is not, the first step in discontinuing the program. It is going to continue. I did ask if this meant that the program was going to be on pause, if it was something that just simply because of COVID, that they just wanted to pause the program for a while. They said they don't know. They don't have any plans yet to talk about a reevaluation in the future. But as everything stands, the program, basically, it's just going to be frozen, is what it sounds like.
Yes. Yeah. That's why I kind of took from it. They pretty much said this was a GoDaddy research decision, since GoDaddy has owned Freedom Voice for several years now, which they've owned them for a while. I don't know if it's 3 or 4 years, something like that. It worried me in the beginning when they first purchased them, and we've sold Freedom Voice for 6 or 7 years now, and of course, we've not been selling it the past year, which we can get in that in a minute. But we've when we were selling it and Freedom Voice purchased them, no changes, none of that stuff, nothing was changed at all. Status quo for years. I think it's been 3 or 4 years since they purchased them. I may be wrong on that, but something like that. And of course, now we feel the wrath of a big company. So instead of the small company mentality, I think it's I was kind of given, or not given, but told that GoDaddy did research, and they said that the nobody's using desk phones anymore. So GoDaddy wants to get rid of a program that they're offering, free phones, free, I'm sure that's a capital outlay for them to keep providing all these phones for free. But they're, making money on the service, I'm sure. But I don't know. I mean, it kind of worries me a little bit. So
Yeah, it is an interesting move. I don't see anybody else making this drastic of a change yet, but well, we'll see. I mean, COVID, because it's extended much longer than anybody thought, I think that the repercussions are probably still yet to be seen and probably will continue into next year because
mhm,
as we are seeing, I think heading into winter is probably what they've been warning about, this what do they call it? The phase two or, the second wave may happen. And if people continue to work from home, then other companies may have to do that as well because what's happening is employees, they're either taking their phones home
mhm.
or they're working off of their cell phones and their apps. And it will be interesting. Although I do have two new onboardings that I will be doing both here in December and in January. So I do have new business coming on. And of course, I have some opportunities to transition some business, not from Freedom Voice, although I will say this. So, Jason, you mentioned that you've not been reselling them for almost a year now. And I
Mhm.
have been in that quasi state of not quite sure. I never intended to leave them because of the outages that they had in 2019. But I have had many reservations about the fact that they did not have the busy lamp field,
Mhm.
which is the feature that allows for somebody to see if somebody else is on the phone. Most of my clients are law firms, and the secretaries need to be able to know if their attorneys are on the line. That was a big feature that once I rolled out Freedom Voice phones that they wanted. And when I started with them, they said that that was on the roadmap. And since we have seen, and I've been with Freedom Voice now going on, this is my second year,
Mhm.
so almost 2 full years, and the feature is not there. And I have heard through unofficial channels that the feature will not be there anytime soon.
Well, I can tell you I've made 4 trips out to Freedom Voice headquarters. The first 2 or 3 we're working on it. We're working on it, and it's not just me. They brought several partners out there several times, and of course, the last trip I made out and sitting in their conference room with the support team and the CEO and everybody sitting in the boardroom because they had like a little when you go out there they have like a little session where you basically complain about the features you want. So is and they listen and tried to add stuff, but last time they pretty much said it will never be a possibility with our system. So I mean they told us straight up it's not happening with the BLF. And of course now today I was told that there will be, of course, since they're kind of putting the program on pause, there'll be no more changes, no more additions, no more updates to the
Right.
systems. I mean, it's just going to be what you have now is what you have. I was informed that several people, of course, if you're going to pause the program, you don't need the salespeople, you don't need some partners, you don't need or partner reps, you don't need some support staff, you don't need marketing. I mean, there's a lot of people you don't need if
Right.
you're going to be status quo. So the bad part is I got to know a lot of the people at Freedom Voice, visiting and, we were, very high partner in their programs and stuff, selling a ton of phones. So I worked closely with a lot of people there, built our second, line of reoccurring revenue off of voice over IP. And, so we were always in contact with people there. People are awesome. I mean, as far as support, Gilbert and um,
Gilbert, I
all
talked
the
to him the other day.
Gilbert, everybody knows Gilbert. Yeah. So, yeah, all the guys in support, Eli, Gilbert, all the other guys, Robert, all the guys are really awesome. And, you won't get that support anywhere else. I mean, that's the one shining spot of Freedom Voice is the support. That's the thing I've struggled with since switching. Support's not bad with other people. It's just you don't have a tier 3 guy that you call in has the instant answer. So but yeah, it's been that's the part I miss the most about switching to somebody else. I mean, all the people are awesome. We still have accounts there. I mean, we still have several accounts. We have some larger accounts, 80 plus extensions that, they give us killer pricing on. And, it's hard to switch those accounts, but, it may be a future thing that we may have to and be forced to. I don't think that they're quitting and going out of business right this minute. But the thing I worry about is you're not taking on any new revenue. You're kind of staying status quo. You have churn. With the churn happening, at what point is GoDaddy going to say there'll be no more? It's like, this is a not profitable part of our business. Let's shut it down. Because if it's up to Freedom Voice and all their people, they would not do it. I'd stand behind their people. But a large company like GoDaddy, it's like, that's not a profitable part of our business. So at what point are they going to pull the plug on it is kind of where I stand at and kind of worry about. I don't think it'll be anytime soon. I'd say it'd probably be, 5+ years maybe, but at some point there's not going to be enough phone systems still out there to maintain, their revenues.
Well, I think the bigger thing is not if they can stay status quo, but I already know of a couple of other techs and businesses that I've spoken with that are just immediately thinking of, okay, I'm going to switch. And to them, they don't want to wait to see when that time has come. So the bigger issue is, can they stay at a good enough level if people start leaving? And of course, the questions I got immediately last night in some posts before the news was even official, the question started, and then all this morning and today, what now? What do we do now? What do you recommend? So I will say this. So I have 5 accounts with Freedom Voice, and the only plan is to move one that they have basically said, we're tired of waiting for the busy lamp field, move us. So I am planning to move them. But nobody else I plan on moving unless something comes up. But for those of you that are asking, who do you recommend now? Where are you going now? I have pretty hesitantly started to make the move to Intermedia. And that is a company that I've had many conversations with Jason, and you had done a ton of research with other providers and had decided on Intermedia as your go-to VoIP provider. So why don't we just start with, let me ask you, and just folks, we did not prep for this. This is not one where I even have an outline that we can pretend to follow. So these are questions that are coming up on the fly. But Jason, let me ask, what was it that actually attracted you to Intermedia?
Well, we build that additional line of revenue for our business on VoIP, and we sell a ton of phone systems. And at all times we have 10 plus phone systems installing a month, sometimes more, sometimes less, but it's usually more. So, but with all those phone systems, with the outage of Freedom Voice, that's what kind of prompted us to start looking. We get 50 tickets in our system, and our phone's blowing up. Of course, we had Freedom Voice phone, so it's out. I couldn't get the phone call, so they're calling my cell phone. So it's kind of prompted us to look. I guess kind of what really made me decide Intermedia is I researched. I want to go with a white label solution in selling Freedom Voice. It's just a national brand. Anybody can sign up and be a partner. So you could. I actually had something that kind of perturbed me a little bit was two local IT companies. I went into their customers and bid Freedom Voice phone systems. They turned around, signed up for Freedom Voice, and sold them the phone system that I bid. So it's kind of perturbed me a little bit. It's like, okay, well, now what's preventing anybody from signing up and just selling the same thing I am? So I wanted to do white label is what I kind of wanted to go for. But in doing white label, experiencing outages on Freedom Voice, I knew I couldn't have outages because now my name's on the line. So I looked into probably about 6 providers. I kind of narrowed it down to, there's, I don't know if I want to mention all the names, but I checked out Net the Phone because a lot of people there said, hey, that's a great product. I signed up about 15 accounts on there. That's not a white label solution, but I kind of jumped from Freedom Voice to there. I personally am not satisfied with their product or their support. Other people are, but it was the volume of phone systems we're doing and the way their control panel works. You have to have a unique email address for every account. Kind of drove me crazy. which that's hard to do. So it's just really friction. So then I checked out 4 or 5 other white label providers, and white labeling taxes are a huge thing. One provider had a white label, they had a accounting place that would do the taxes for you, minimum $500 a month to do the taxes. Like, well, I don't want to do that. That's crazy to pay another accounting firm when I've got an accountant there to do it, but taxes on phone systems are crazy. Um, I checked out, a couple others. Some of them are one provider I checked out looked really cool, and it's kind of based off of 3CX, but they basically, you buy your PBX here and you buy your trunk lines there, you connect them together. It's not all one solution. I've got 5 guys that do phone systems. I was like, it can't be something super crazy hard to do. One person could do this all day long, and that's too many steps and too many things to mess up. Then somebody else messaged me and said, "Hey, actually, it's Kai and Moses that messaged me and said, 'Hey, you gotta check out Intermedia.' So talked to him back and forth on Facebook for a while. Called up the partner, got a demo system, got a demo online. Um, the taxes are done by them. You put in their control panel. You can white label or you can not white label with them. So it kind of makes it easy if whichever way you want to go. So they do have an advisor level, kind of like FreedomVoice, where you get the 20% a month, or you can sell Unite, which is their product as far as being able to not white label but co-brand. And then
Co-brand.
yeah. Then Elevate is their product for white labeling. So we sell the Elevate product, but it's basically it allows us to white label. They do taxes on the back end. They send you an invoice because you put in all the pricing you're charging. It knows what you're charging. It gives you the taxes. You pay them what you owe them. As far as the phone system's concerned, what you owe them at your rates, and then you charge your customer through your billing system wherever you want to charge. They do give you a very detailed phone bill, so you can either copy that or give it to the customer because it's just generic. Of course, it doesn't have their name or nothing on it. So, but really, the things that attracted me: one control panel, all your customers, one control panel. We got a ton of accounts, so instead of logging in, logging out with phone number and username, password to multiple accounts, it kind of helps out to have one account, log in. There they all are. You can switch between them real easy. The other things, free phones. Like FreedomVoice, it's hard to go up against our competitors and charge thousands of dollars for phones when other people are giving them away.
Right.
So I wanted free phones. That was checked off on my box. They have pretty good support. I'm not going to say it's the best support in the world, but we are able to get routed to level 2 techs now automatically after complaining a little bit. But they got us the level 1's all right, depending on who you get. But they just hired a bunch of new people that are a little green. So the past few months we've been dealing with some green techs trying to learn. I get that, but now we've asked them to route us to level 2, and they do. So we kind of skip that level. But the the other things that kind of checked our boxes is mobile apps. I really wanted a mobile app that would actually work. So the mobile app has the BLF in it, has your instant messaging, has your online meeting, Zoom type style stuff, has text messaging that works well. They got desktop apps for Mac and PC. They got the online faxing that works really well. They got fax boxes that work really well. So, and the thing that I really, white labeling, I really, I was like, have to have reliability. That's a key point. They guarantee, and I haven't had any outages, knock on wood. Been selling since March, but 99.999% uptime. That's 17 minutes a year. At the most, they'll be down. If they don't, they reimburse you on your bill. So at least if they do go down, you get reimbursed. But I've talked to people before I signed up that said that they've been selling them 4 years and not had a minute of downtime. So, like I said, all I can vouch for since March, and had really good luck with them so far. And I can tell you, we have tons of phone systems on there. So,
yep. And like I had mentioned earlier, you and I, Jason, we had a lot of conversations because, I was slow to get into the VoIP field. I did not want that as part of my resume, but everything is touching the network now. So it was pretty much, if I have to help support the phones for somebody else, why allow them to get the money? I can support it my way. So that's why I went with it. And you're exactly right when it comes to the options. It seems as though at the time I made the choice to go with FreedomVoice, they were providing the best partner-centric program, at least at the time that we had researched. But
Mhm.
it seems that Intermedia is a little bit better in some of the partner-centric stuff. The, the ability to sell, as a reseller or as a co-brand. So Freedom Voice, of course, offered that as well. So before I went to another platform, I wanted that same option. I
Mhm.
want to know that some of my customers, I don't want to deal with billing issues because they might be slow pay, or if the relationship is not as solid as it should be. I want them to know that, listen, if we part ways, you know, you don't have to worry about ripping out a phone system or
Mhm.
making that sort of changes. So for some of my customers, that's the way we go. For others, it's part of our package, just like you have your white label. So that was big. The one thing that probably made me more hesitant. So the onboarding with Intermedia was pretty, I don't want to say steep because I don't know what some of the other onboardings were, but it was, I mean, there's a 4 hour.
Mhm.
Now it's at your own pace. So for some, it's a little less. For me, it was a little longer because I couldn't do it all in one sitting, but they definitely make you go through the ringer. So I want
Yes.
to be sure that people know that if you go to Intermedia as a result of, listening to Jason and I, understand that it's not going to be like Freedom Voice. Well, thank you for being a partner. We'll take it from here. You're going to have to do some work. You're going to have to prove that, you're really in this game to partner with them and to work with them. And you're going to be able to sell the product. You're going to be able to support the product.
Mhm.
So it's going to be some work up front. It's not just sign up, let me sell. You've got to prove that you're in the game.
Yeah, I was basically had a customer ready to go, and I was like, "I need to switch them now. I need to go now." And, signed up, and I was like, 4 hours worth of video training? Oh, no." So I literally come home on that Friday, and I couldn't even do quotes or anything till you do this video training. You can't do anything in the customer portal, and so that was, like, the big, like, smack in the face. The first day, it's like, this sucks." So I was like, "I really hope I like this system after spending 4 hours," so, but basically, I think it's a positive, to be honest. I mean, it's kind of a pain in the butt to sit down for 4 hours. Us techs always have something going on. It's crazy, but I come home on a Saturday and I just watch video after video, and it does have tests that
Yes.
you have to pass. So it's not just watching videos. You do have to pass the test, and it grades you and lets you move on. You can go back and change their answers, all that good stuff. It's not like you're set in stone after choosing an answer, but it really helps. I actually made my other phone guys go through it because it really answers a ton of questions. Um, and also in the billing side of things, understanding how, if you're going white label, how the billing actually works is a huge thing. And I think they really push, for your knowledge on that. So it is work up front, but I think it's work well worth it. So learned a lot. Of course, we did lean on their support in the beginning for how to do this or do that. One thing I can say is they do have an excellent knowledge base.
Yeah.
So
Yep. So just to let everybody know where I am in terms of eating my own dog food. So I have mentioned before that I had a phone system in my office that I got from another VoIP provider
mhm,
about 4 or 5 years ago that I thought, well, if I'm going to sell, maybe I'll use them. And I never could get to the point where I could pull the trigger from them. So I have their phones in my office. I've never sold their product. Then I joined Freedom Voice. I have one Freedom Voice phone that sits behind me over here. Could not find myself to switch to Freedom Voice because we too were waiting for the busy lamp field. So when I've got Kim sitting at the front desk, she needs to know if I'm on the phone, and she loves it because that was another thing. We have the exact same phones,
mhm,
the same Polycom phones, and we figured out how to do busy lamp field on these, but
mhm.
we couldn't do it on the Freedom Voice. So that was a barrier to us switching.
Mhm.
So if you're asking, are you really doing your media? Here's the phone.
Yay, Link. That's good.
That is the phone. And I probably can't, let me see if I can widen the shot here to show everybody that you can just see the edge of 4 phones that I've got on the box there. So we are going to be switching our office over to Intermedia. I have 2 customers ready to go on Intermedia, and we shall see how it goes. I have been, listen, and let me say this. I don't want to poo-poo on Freedom Voice.
No.
Freedom Voice has been good for me. I did not have the significant outage issues that other people had, even when they had the big outage. I think I had one customer that was down for like an hour, and I've had customers that have had little intermittent deals, but they're used to it because they know that this is internet-based stuff. So as long as they're not down all day, they're happy. So I've not had those significant issues. My issues have been with the features that they just seem to not be doing. I will say that I also like the presentation of Intermedia. I like the quoting system, by the way. We didn't,
Yeah.
not that we talk about that, but their quotes come out nice.
Oh yeah, they do. Yeah.
When I send the quote to a customer, they're like, "Ooh, this is pretty snazzy, pretty professional." So, so my phones will be ported next week, and then, like I said, I have 2 customers that will be porting in January. They want to wait until the end of the year, get all their stuff done, and then we're going to start in January. And I think I've got a total of 30, 35, 36 phones between those 2 offices that we'll be doing. And I just missed out on a quote for 175.
Wow.
I had it until the existing vendor came back and said, "We'll match the price." And then they didn't have to change anything. I was like, "Ugh." But I was almost there. That would have been nice.
Yeah, those are nice. So. And Intermedia will work with you on numbers. So I didn't have 175, but I had a health department here local that had 145 phones. Went up against Ring Central. Ring Central come down to $15.99 a phone. Intermedia, I come down even lower than that. So per phone for that number of phones. So they will work with you with your partner rep on pricing on large deals. So they can definitely help you out with that. And you're talking about quoting. That quote tool is awesome. It makes it super simple. And then 2, I'll show you one of my quotes one time. We take their quote and throw it inside of a Proposify quote. And
Yes, I saw that.
and yeah, I have to show you all our fluff and our quotes. So.
All right, we will do that at some point. So there you have it, folks. I think we've hit all of the major points in the Freedom Voice announcement today. I want to thank people in the chat. Some people have been making comments. I haven't been posting them so that everybody can see. But there was a comment about somebody loving net to phone that you mentioned earlier. And of course, there were some people saying that, let's see, I ordered the T48 for myself, but have not installed yet. Okay, so somebody who's also on the Intermedia platform. Some other people earlier.
Yeah.
We have been very happy with, oh, I know who that is. You know who that is?
Where? Oh yeah. That's
The person
my
who
wife.
the person who put an angry face on one of my podcasts a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah. She said, "I didn't realize I did that." So
You said that's the wrong one. So
there's the other guy's podcast. She meant to put that on. I mean,
yeah. Come on, I'm trying to make this show better. You guys are killing me.
Well, one more pro tip: if people are kind of switching from Freedom Voice, not telling you to switch by no means. I still have several accounts there, but if you do decide to go intermediate route, they do give you free Polycom VVX 450 as of right now, or a Yalink T46S. We have found that the Polycoms, I was pro Polycom coming from Freedom Voice, and I want Polycom phones, and then our account rep talked us out of it. I have installed some Polycom phones when we switch systems because they have those D60 cordlesses. But the Polycom phones, the park buttons, so they light up red whenever somebody's on the phone or somebody's parked on that extension. When you click it on a Polycom, it pops up a dialog box that you have to, if you park it on extension 901, you have to hit the park button, then type a 901. On the A-Link phones, you just hit the park button and it picks it up. So if I had to give you a pro tip, go with the Yalinks and much better phone. So.
All right, that's good because that matches what my park feature is now on our current phone. She gets a call, she can just park it. I just come over, hit park, picks up, makes it easy.
Yep.
So, all right. So I will definitely do a follow-up later once I have the intermedia phones installed. And again, folks, Freedom Voice is not going away for your existing accounts, and you have until March 1st. If you need to add some new accounts, you can still do it. Commission structure stays the same. The support stays the same. And we're friends with some of those people over at Freedom Voice. So I had, like I said, I had 2 specific calls today with people there, and spoke with Gilbert the other night, helped me through a quick little deal, and they're good. Hopefully they'll still be around. They're part of the channel, and we will continue to treat them with kindness. But going forward, for new customers, especially after March 1st, I will be doing intermedia. Jason is doing intermedia. If there are other programs out there that you want us to look at, listen, my job is not to tell you what to sell. My job is to help you decide what to sell, and we will present you with as many options as possible. So I have nothing against bringing other vendors on. Connect Me Voice was on a few months ago, and we'll be happy to have other companies on the show. And if you are definitely using a vendor that you like I said, somebody mentioned they like Net2Phone. Nothing wrong with that. Not every product works for every company. So, but we're here to help you sort through what information there is out there and tell you what's worked for us. So that pretty good show there, Jason. Anything else you want to add, and any shout outs you want to do?
No, I'm good. So.
And a shout out to your puppy there, your new family member.
Yeah, new puppy, man. It's like having a toddler all over again. They're full of energy. So
who does the chores with because you're both at home, right? You're still both working out of the house?
Oh no, we haven't worked out of the house since April.
Oh, you're back.
Been back since April, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Wow. We stayed at home for March, or no, it was April we stayed home, and then after April we in full swing in normal business and service calls, everything. It's not affected us as much here as some of those bigger cities. So
I was going to say, must be nice to live in a small town, huh?
I guess. I mean, there's 175,000 people in this Tri-Cities area, so I mean, it's not super small, but it's still not hit us. We're kind of usually delayed on stuff like that, but I'm just it's becoming more prevalent here lately, so I'm kind of wondering. So,
oh, your counts are up?
Yes, majorly up recently. So I don't know if they've just been skyrocketing like crazy, but in the beginning we were super low. I mean, other people were thousands and thousands, and we were like 10. So it's kind of this delayed reaction in our area for some reason. I don't know. I think it's a lot of bigger cities. A lot of people are moving here from like New York, California, and stuff like that. So
people are selling their homes and going to the small towns.
Yeah. I mean, I've talked to people in New York, and I know somebody that's there, and they're stuck in an apartment, can't do nothing, still locked down. I mean, they're like, we've got to get out of here. It's driving us crazy. So,
all right. So that's our cue that it's time to end the show.
That's good. Sorry.
All right, folks. I do want to say thank you for all of you that have listened and watched here, and we will obviously keep you abreast of any new information that we get, and we will always try to steer you with the best information that we can and what works best for our businesses. And if you have any information, have any comments, suggestions, questions, be sure to email marvin@podnuts.com, and we'll try to answer those for you or get you to somebody else in the industry like a Jason who can help answer those questions as well. And that is going to do it for this episode of Podnuts Pro. Jason, I want to say goodbye.
Yeah. Hey, I appreciate it. Thanks. I was waiting for the holla.
Oh, that's going to do it for this episode, folks. And until next time, holla.